Great, so welcome back to Grade 8 Math. We are now looking at Chapter 3.3, which is on Excel or spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are really cool tools. They're an office management tool that you can use on the computer. You can also use Google Spreadsheet, and you can also use the Macintosh Numbers as well. You can use the Apple program Numbers. And what it basically is, it's basically a table, rows and columns, and you could put mathematical formulas to solve those, solve a bunch of calculations for you. And let's take a look at some of how Excel works. So if we go to our Excel spreadsheet here, this is an example of a spreadsheet, we can see that we have different cells, and the cells are numbered with columns A all the way to however you want to, and rows numerically. So if I look at cell A1 is the intersection of column A, row 1, and I find the content grade in there. If I look at this cell, if you want to just name that cell, it's column C, row 3. So we name this cell C3, and the content found in this cell is 85. So, given all this information, we can first of all look at how to use some operations in it. So, if we look at, let's say, cell C3, and I want to add that to another cell, I'll use some operations. A couple of operations we need to do to tell the computer to make a calculation is this equal sign. So this equal signs means I need to do some math. So do some math. Without the equal sign, it thinks you're just writing in the letters C and the number 3. But once you put the equal sign, that's kind of an indicator for the computer or for the program to say we need to do some calculations now. Then I put the cell number of the number that I want to calculate, and then I put the operations in between. So if I want to add that to the information that's in C4. So I do equal sign C3 plus C4, and now this makes a little formula, and it adds those cells together. So each one of these things is called a cell. And then the basic operations are plus is for addition, so the minus sign is for subtraction. And the couple of special ones are multiplication is the asterisk. So if you look in the either on the side of your keyboard with the numbers, the number pad, or you can use Shift 8 to make an asterisk. And then the last one is a slash for division. So we can use a slash. We don't have a divide by symbol on our keyboard, so we just use a slash. So those are our 4 basic ones. We also have a couple of formulas as well. I have equal sign sum. And equal sign sum basically means I want to find the sum or add up all of the following cells. So I want from A1 all the way to A7. So this is from, and the colon represents 2. The cells, so all the cells between A1 and A7, I will be adding together. If I don't want to find just the sum, because the sum is really the total, if instead I want to find an average, then I'll use equal sign average. Equal sign mean does not exist in Excel. So if I want to find the average of the cells A1 to A7, I'll be using this formula. So equal sign average, open bracket, from A1 to A7, close bracket. So here are all my operations, the very basic operations, and then I have the more complicated formulas. Why are formulas or operations important using cells in Excel? Well, here's why. Formulas are better than just typing in the numbers because number one, it's faster than adding up plus 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 all the time, and I could just use the colon to go from one to the next one. And another reason is it responds to any changes that I make. So for example, let's say I change whatever is in cell A1, then it recalculates everything for me. It doesn't have to ask you to recalculate everything, it'll recalculate everything for you. So here's your assignment. What I'd like you to do is either go into Excel or go into Google Drive, into your Google Documents, and I want you to create this following spreadsheet. So if you want to either take the time to pause this video and then open up Excel, or open up Google Drive and create a new spreadsheet and copy down these numbers, and then we'll be on our way. So let's just take a look at these for now. And so here's your assignment. I'd like you to find out the, let's take a look at this first. So we have the grade 9, we have the high school classes, we have the number of students that are in each class, and then we have the numbers of food that was brought in for our recent Thanksgiving drive. And so we have these numbers in there. And in our head, we can separate these numbers, the number of students, from the numbers of food. So just because this 21 looks like it's beside the 46, beside the 12 and the 8, does not mean that all 4 of these numbers are related directly to each other, and even the 9 that's in this box. Even though I color it differently, in your version of Excel, you might not color it. So you do have to realize what all of these numbers mean. So the question would be total items. If I want to calculate the total number of items, what kind of formula could I use? There are several formulas that I could use, but we'll start with the first one. So one example we can use is, first of all, we always start with the equal sign. So we start with equal sign, and then we'll put in the cells that we want to add together. So equal sign C2, and to that we are going to add D2, and we're going to add E2. And you can see it colors, or it highlights the actual cells that are going to be added together. So C2 plus D2 plus E2, once I press enter, then it gives me the total. Notice the formula is presented here in the formula bar, but the real number, the actual answer of the formula, is in the total items. Then what we can do is we can do the same with the next few rows. Now some of you may have jumped ahead, and instead of using C2 plus D2 plus E2, we could have used the formula sum. And so equal sign sum, open bracket, and then I put all my numbers in from C2 colon to E2. Enter sign, and I still get 66. So this is my formula. Notice there's a little green triangle. What that means is it's just asking you, the computer's asking you, what about this 21? Is this 21 going to be included? We know that the 21 is not going to be included because that's the number of students, and they won't be included in the total number of items. That's what that little exclamation point and the green triangle are for. Now, I could continue on and rewrite the formula for the grade 10, grade 11, grade 12 classes, but there's a couple of other ways that I can do this. I can either copy, so once I do Control C, or I can hover over copy, click on that, and now I go to the next one, and I press paste. And notice that in regular Microsoft Word, copy and paste copies exactly what's written. Well, in this case, what exactly is written is the formula. So notice how the formula, when I pasted it, it changes it. Excel's quite smart and thinks, okay, now I want to find the sum of row 3. And I can copy and paste into row 4 and copy and paste into row 5. An even faster way of doing this is by looking at the little drop-down square that's in the corner. Notice how my cross changes to kind of a more thin cross. If I take that thin cross and drag that down, oops, let's just try this again, and I drag this down, notice that it will now fill in the rest of them. So it automatically copy and pasted for me all the total items. The average items per student basically means I'm taking the total number of items and dividing it by the number of students. So in this case, try to come up with a formula to find the total number of items divided by the number of students, which can then tell me approximately how many items did each student bring. Well, hopefully you figured out that it's equal sign F2, cell F2, divided by cell B2. So it is a total number of items divided by the total number of students in that class. So in that case, I get approximately 3.1 items per student. Does that make sense that about each student brought in 3 items? It does, because 21 students, if they each brought 3 items, would be 3 times 21, and that would be 63. So it makes sense that it's about 3.1. So what I'd like you to do is try to fill out the rest of these, with the appropriate formulas. So fill out this entire chart from A1 all the way to G6 with all the appropriate formulas. Print out your answers, or you can share it with me on Google Docs, or you can email it to me as well. But try out all the different formulas. We'll be going over this in class, and we'll be trying a couple of other spreadsheets as well. And we'll also be looking at graphing